Hello and welcome back to MPB's ACT Math Portion Workshop. I am Miss Killen. I am here to guide you through this course, making sure that we can get the best possible score for this math portion. So let's go ahead and dive into Lesson 2. Lesson 2 does focus on my student support. So let's go ahead and see what that entails. First thing that we need to know about student support. For me to have any type of support, I've got to know what I'm doing on this test. For me to know what and how I'm doing on this test, I've got to do three things. Practice, practice, practice. That is the key to understanding what I know and what I don't know. So for me to practice, 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 I've got to do one thing and one thing only. I've got to take a practice test. So that practice test is going to help me know specifically what type of questions I can work, what type of questions really make me struggle, and what concepts I really have mastery of and what I'm still needing to gain some knowledge of. And what I do when I take those practice tests, I am allowing myself to practice at a self-pace. And all of those self-paced practice tests are on your myact.org. So you want to go to myact.org and you can do all different types of practice tests and different types of practice problems, which will help you see what you need to work on and what you've got covered. So let's go ahead and look at some of those accommodations and some of that support that we have. So some support that we've got along with those practice tests is a fee waiver and specific accommodations for certain individuals. So let's see what all of this support looks like and who is eligible for these different types of support. So the first thing we've got is our fee waiver. Now, who's eligible for this fee waiver? So if you're in 11th to 12th grade, a junior or senior in high school, and you are testing in the United States, Puerto Rico, or any U.S. territory, you must meet one of these following criteria. You must be enrolled in the free or reduced lunch program. You must be enrolled in an economic disadvantage program. You must reside in either foster care or you're unhoused, meaning you're homeless, or your family receives some type of low income assistance, or you live in low income subsidized public housing. Now, to know if you meet any of those criteria, you can always go to your test coordinator there at your high school, or you can talk with your counselor. She or he will be able to help you understand if you meet one or multiple criteria to get these waivers. Now, what do these waivers do? How do they help me? So one thing that these waivers do and cover, they cover the registration fee. That means if you're going to do the writing portion, they cover that writing portion, or if you're not going to do the writing portion, they cover all of your registration fees. Now, what happens if I'm late to register for the test that I really want to take? It also covers that late registration. So sometimes life gets in the way and I don't get to have it scheduled by midnight. That's okay because this waiver is going to help you cover that late fee. Now, it also gives you one report sent to your high school and 6 colleges. Well, Ms. Killen, I really don't need it sent to 6 colleges. But what if you make an extremely good score and you send it to the college you want, but you send it to 5 other ones and the other colleges give you more money to come there? There's something to think about. So you never want to just send it to one place, so that's the only place I'm going to think about, because you may be limiting yourself to money, grants, and or scholarships. So never limit yourself. Something else that this waiver covers is an unlimited additional regular score reporting. Okay, so you can get those reports unlimited anytime you need them. So sometimes that'll help you when you're maybe interviewing for a scholarship or a grant and they ask you for something specific. You can always look and gain that report to have proof and documentation. This is what I got. What can you give me for it? So you always want to make sure that you've got those. It also gives you free access to the online self-paced ACT course. Like I said earlier, those practice tests are on there, not just for the math portion, but you have for the English portion and the reading portion. So they are self-paced. You can take them as needed or at your pace to make sure that you're gaining everything that you can possibly use to get those great scores. Now, we talked about the fee waiver. What about the accommodations? Now, certain individuals need a little extra accommodations so they can take this test. So you have to have a state and a district accommodation. So what does that mean? Okay, so your users have to have documentation of a disability. If you're needing some type of accommodation, then you need that documentation. You know, everybody always says document, document, document. Well, that's what that document is for, to help you with these accommodations. You can also go to your test coordinator at your school, and they can submit those requests of accommodations with that documentation that you have. Students who have a disability but doesn't have a school plan in place can still apply for the accommodations. You contact your test coordinator or your counselor at your school, and they can help you navigate what you need to do to get extra accommodations to take this ACT test. Now, while we're talking about accommodations, you've got to have that documentation. Okay, documentation is going to be your key. If you have an IEP, if you have a 504 plan, if you've got other documentations, maybe from doctors or different specialists, medical specialists that can give you documentation, this individual has this, so they need this. You could possibly get extended time, audio support. Maybe they need to read the question to you, or maybe they need to read the responses to you so you can pick the correct one. All of those different accommodations can be gained if you have the correct documentation. Now, we have what are called English language learners, and we have support for those individuals. Again, they must be enrolled in a school in the U.S., U.S. territories, or Puerto Rico. They do have a limited English proficiency, which allows them to be classified as an English language learner. They are enrolled in an English language acquisition program, and they are in a current English language support at their school. The supports that they can get on their ACT may look like a bilingual dictionary, maybe written instructions that are translated into their native language. They may get extra time, which is time and a half, or maybe they just need to be in a small group test settings. So all of these accommodations are available for our English language learners. So if you have questions, if you are an English language learner, or if some of these accommodations would affect you or your dependent, you may want to speak with the test coordinator at the high school or your school counselor. They would have all this information. Now, we have looked at what the test structure looks like. We've looked at what accommodations and maybe some fee waivers that we could possibly use getting ready for this ACT test. So we're getting into what really is needed to take and be very successful for this ACT math portion specifically. So until our next lesson, I want us to make sure that we are practicing. And as always, I am Ms. Killen here at MPB. Have a great day.